Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Italian ebook before it's gone. Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. Today, we'll learn conversational phrases about occupations. After watching this video, you'll be able to talk about your job and ask what somebody does for a living. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your occupation PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Che cosa fai?
Sono un artista.
Listen to it again, now with the English translation.
Che cosa fai?
What do you do?
Sono un artista.
I'm an artist. First of all, you need to learn how to say, what do you do? That's.
Che cosa fai?
Listen to it again.
Che cosa fai? Che cosa fai?
Now, how do you answer this question? This is the pattern you'll need.
Sono uno.
Your occupation. I'm an, your occupation. For example, I'm an artist.
Sono un artista. Sono un artista.
Here are a few more professions you can use with the same pattern. Police officer.
Ufficiale di polizia. Ufficiale di polizia.
Teacher.
Insegnante. Insegnante.
Doctor.
Dottore. Dottore.
Dottoressa. Dottoressa.
Engineer.
Ingegnere. Ingegnere.
Now, listen to some examples.
Che cosa fai? Sono un insegnante. Che cosa fai? Sono un dottore. Che cosa fai? Sono un ingegnere.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, what do you do?
Che cosa fai?
Imagine you're a doctor. Do you remember how to say, doctor?
Dottore. Dottore.
Say, I'm a doctor.
Sono un dottore.
Now answer the question saying that you are a doctor.
Che cosa fai? Sono un dottore.
Now, imagine you're a teacher. Do you remember how to say teacher?
Insegnante. Insegnante.
Say, I'm a teacher.
Sono un insegnante.
Now, answer the question saying that you are a teacher.
Che cosa fai? Sono un insegnante.
Now, imagine you're an engineer. Do you remember how to say engineer?
ingegnere, ingegnere,
Say, I'm an engineer.
sono un ingegnere.
Now, answer the question saying that you are an engineer.
Che cosa fai? Sono un ingegnere.
Most people who learn a foreign language learn it so that they can one day have real-life conversations with native speakers. When you start out learning and crack open your first textbook or listen to your first podcast, having a real conversation can feel like a fantasy. When everything about a language feels new, it can be overwhelming. But this couldn't be further from the truth. While it does take a significant amount of time and effort to become fluent, having a conversation might not be as far off as you think. In this video, we'll look at 3 ways you can boost your conversational skills and start talking to native speakers. Number 1, find native speakers and practice with them. It's unlikely you live near a big group of native speakers to practice with. If you happen to be in a major or international city, your chances may be better. Check and see if your city has a general language exchange. Chances are there could be a native speaker there who is also trying to learn another language. Practicing in person with a native speaker is probably the most interesting option for honing your speaking skills. But if you can't find anyone where you live, the next best option is to look online. Luckily for language learners, the past 10 years or so have seen an explosion in online language exchange sites. On these websites, you can search for someone who is a native speaker of your target language and is also learning your native language. The idea behind a language exchange is that you communicate with them via video or text chat, and half of the time, they help you practice your target language. And for the other half, you help them practice theirs. Practicing via an online language exchange is a highly effective way to practice your conversational skills. Number 2, work on pronunciation. Pronunciation is often an overlooked skill when it comes to learning a foreign language. Most people think of a good foreign accent as a luxury rather than a necessity. But what most people don't talk about is how having a good accent boosts your listening and comprehension skills. If you can hear a sound from a foreign language and know how to make it yourself, then you're more likely to understand native speakers when they talk at normal speed, and you're also more likely to remember any new words or phrases you come across. Having a good accent means that the language no longer sounds foreign. Instead, it sounds familiar, maybe even natural. So how do you go about perfecting your accent? The best way is to break down the language into its individual sounds. Make note of any sounds that are the same or similar to your native language and of those that are different. Of the sounds that are different, spend your time practicing the ones that you find the hardest to say correctly. After you're comfortable with the individual sounds, you can start linking together words and phrases. This is where accent practice starts to get really fun and interesting. Get your hands on some native speaker audio from a TV show, song, or podcast. Play the audio back and listen closely a few times. Take note of how words blend together in speech. Then, do your best to imitate what you hear, trying to match the speaker's emphasis and intonation. Our language learning program's playback feature is perfect for this. Record yourself and compare it to the original recording. Rinse and repeat until you're comfortable with the audio selection, and then move on to something more difficult. This is how you can break through the accent barrier and really start to make the language your own. Number 3, learn phrases, not just individual words. Learning grammar and individual words is great, but it's not the only approach you should take if you want to speak fluently. In addition to your regular grammar and vocabulary, try learning whole phrases, even if you aren't totally sure how they work grammatically. Learn phrases that are specific to your needs. It's a good idea to learn phrases that are grouped around a certain setting or subject, such as simple greetings or introductions, questions for getting to know someone, or traveling comfortably. You can even learn filler phrases, which you can use so that you have something to say when, well, you don't know what to say. Learning phrases like this will help you become conversational faster. You may not understand what you're saying literally, but as long as you know the general meaning behind the phrase and know when to use it, you'll be able to talk like a native. Eventually, your knowledge of grammar and vocabulary should catch up with the phrases you know. Learning a new language should feel like an adventure. There will be plateaus and periods in your learning where it feels like you're hitting a wall, but being able to speak with native speakers and have real conversations will help you combat language fatigue. After all, talking to someone face-to-face in a foreign language is one of the main reasons we start learning in the first place. And for even more ways to gain conversation skills, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Hey everyone, Alicia here. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, we'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, how's your mother? After watching this video, you'll be able to talk about well-being and ask how someone is doing. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your Conversation About Family Well-Being PDF cheat sheet for free. Now let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Come sta tua madre? Sta bene.
Once more with the English translation.
Come sta tua madre?
How's your mother?
Sta bene.
She's fine. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, how's your mother? That's,
Come sta tua madre?
listen to it again.
Come sta tua madre? Come sta tua madre?
This Italian sentence literally means, how does your mother stay? But it translates as, how's your mother in English. Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is
Sta.
state of well-being. This Italian sentence literally means, she stays, but it translates as, she is state of well-being in English. For example, she's fine.
Sta bene. Sta bene.
Here are a few expressions related to well-being that you can use with this pattern. Great,
Alla grande. Alla grande.
fine,
Bene. Bene.
so-so,
Così così. Così così.
not good,
Non bene. Non bene.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Come sta tua madre? Sta alla grande. Come sta tua madre? Sta così così. Come sta tua madre? Non sta bene.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, how's your mother?
Come sta tua madre?
Imagine she's great. Do you remember how to say, great?
Alla grande. Alla grande.
Say, she's great.
Sta alla grande.
Now, answer the question saying she's great.
Come sta tua madre? Sta alla grande.
Now imagine she's so-so. Do you remember how to say so-so?
Così così. Così così.
Say, she's so-so.
Sta così così.
Now, answer the question saying she's so-so.
Come sta tua madre? Sta così così.
Now imagine she's not good. Do you remember how to say not good?
Non bene. Non bene.
Say, she's not good.
Non sta bene.
Now, answer the question saying she's not good.
Come sta tua madre? Non sta bene.
You've studied for a while and are ready to talk to people and practice what you've learned. But where do you start? Starting a conversation in a new language can seem a bit intimidating. How do you just jump into it? In this video, we'll look at 5 ways to start conversations. Number 1. Introduce yourself in your target language. This is usually one of the first things you learn when you start studying a new language. And sometimes, starting a conversation, or continuing one, is as simple as introducing yourself. Number 2. Talking about the weather. This is a universal talking point. People talk about the weather all over the world. And just saying, "It's really nice today," is enough to start a conversation. A great way to practice your weather conversation skills is to check out our Can-Do lesson pathway. This series of lessons teaches you how to talk about the weather in your target language. Number 3. Give compliments. Compliments are a great way to start a conversation. You can compliment something about your conversation partner's city, country, or something specific to them personally. "Hey, your bag is super cute," or "That ice cream looks delicious." These kinds of compliments can lead to further conversation about what you complimented. In this case, it could be fashion or a local restaurant. This is a great way to make quick connections with people. Number 4. Ask for help. For example, you can ask for directions, ask about prices, or request recommendations for restaurants or shopping spots, and let the conversation go from there. People are usually happy to lend a helping hand to tourists who are visiting their city. Number 5. Learn phrases for transactions. This can include getting a room at a hotel, or telling a taxi driver where to go. When you're traveling overseas, you'll need to talk to other people in your target language. And while this might be a bit scary at first, you'll find that the people you meet are just happy that you're trying to communicate with them. So get started talking in your target language now. For even more tips on how to start conversations, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Hey everyone, Alicia here. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, we'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, "What's the matter?" After watching this video, you'll be able to make complaints and ask someone else if they're having any issues. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your Making Complaints PDF cheat sheet for free. Now let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
È tutto a posto?
L'ufficio è caldo.
Once more with the English translation.
È tutto a posto?
What's the matter?
L'ufficio è caldo.
The office is hot. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, "What's the matter?" That's,
È tutto a posto?
listen to it again.
È tutto a posto? È tutto a posto?
This Italian sentence literally translates into, "Is it everything in the right place?" But it means, "What's the matter?" in English. Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is,
L'ufficio è.
Adjective. The office is adjective. For example, the office is hot.
L'ufficio è caldo. L'ufficio è caldo.
Here are a few more examples you can use with the same pattern to make complaints. Hot,
Caldo. Caldo.
cold,
Freddo. Freddo.
noisy,
Rumoroso. Rumoroso.
dirty,
Sporco. Sporco.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
È tutto a posto?
L'ufficio è freddo.
È tutto a posto?
L'ufficio è rumoroso.
È tutto a posto?
L'ufficio è sporco.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, "What's the matter?"
È tutto a posto?
Imagine the office is cold. Do you remember how to say cold?
Freddo. Freddo.
Say, the office is cold.
L'ufficio è freddo.
Now answer the question saying the office is cold.
È tutto a posto?
L'ufficio è freddo.
Now imagine the office is noisy. Do you remember how to say noisy?
Rumoroso. Rumoroso.
Say, the office is noisy.
L'ufficio è rumoroso.
Now, answer the question saying the office is noisy.
È tutto a posto?
L'ufficio è rumoroso.
Now imagine the office is dirty. Do you remember how to say dirty?
Sporco. Sporco.
Say, the office is dirty.
L'ufficio è sporco.
Now answer the question saying the office is dirty.
È tutto a posto?
L'ufficio è sporco.
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, you'll learn conversational phrases to ask and answer the question, how do you say this? After watching this video, you'll be able to ask someone how a word is pronounced. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your How to Say Something PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Come si dice questo?
Si dice parcheggio.
Once more with the English translation.
Come si dice questo?
How do you say this?
Si dice parcheggio.
It's parking lot. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, how do you say this? That's,
Come si dice questo?
listen to it again.
Come si dice questo? Come si dice questo?
Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is
Si dice,
word. This Italian sentence literally translates into it is said word, but it means it's word in English. For example, it's parking lot.
si dice parcheggio. Si dice parcheggio.
Here are a few useful words you can use with the same pattern. Parking lot,
Parcheggio. Parcheggio.
giraffe,
Giraffa. Giraffa.
dog,
Cane. Cane.
morning,
Mattina. Mattina.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Come si dice questo?
Si dice giraffa.
Come si dice questo?
Si dice cane.
Come si dice questo?
Si dice mattina.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, how do you say this?
Come si dice questo?
Imagine it's the word giraffe. Do you remember how to say giraffe?
Giraffa. Giraffa.
Say, it's giraffe.
Si dice giraffa.
Now answer the question saying, it's giraffe.
Come si dice questo?
Si dice giraffa.
Now, imagine it's the word dog. Do you remember how to say dog?
Cane. Cane.
Say, it's dog.
Si dice cane.
Now answer the question saying it's dog.
Come si dice questo?
Si dice cane.
Now, imagine it's the word morning. Do you remember how to say morning?
Mattina. Mattina.
Say, it's morning.
Si dice mattina.
Now, answer the question saying it's morning.
Come si dice questo?
Si dice mattina.
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, we'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, what's your favorite number? After watching this video, you'll be able to say many numbers and ask someone their favorite number. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your Talking About Numbers PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Qual è il tuo numero preferito? È il 7.
Once more with the English translation.
Qual è il tuo numero preferito?
What's your favorite number?
È il 7.
It's 7. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, "What's your favorite number?" That's,
Qual è il tuo numero preferito?
listen to it again.
Qual è il tuo numero preferito? Qual è il tuo numero preferito?
Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is,
È il
number. This Italian sentence literally translates into, is the number, but it means it's number in English. For example, it's 7.
è il 7. È il 7.
Here are a few more numbers you can use with the same pattern. 7,
7. 7.
2,
2. 2.
4,
4. 4.
9,
9. 9.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Qual è il tuo numero preferito? È il 2. Qual è il tuo numero preferito? È il 4. Qual è il tuo numero preferito? È il 9.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, "What's your favorite number?"
Qual è il tuo numero preferito?
Imagine it's 2. Do you remember how to say 2?
2. 2.
Say, "It's 2."
È il 2.
Now answer the question saying, "It's 2."
Qual è il tuo numero preferito? È il 2.
Now imagine it's 4. Do you remember how to say 4?
4. 4.
Say, "It's 4."
È il 4.
Now answer the question by saying, "It's 4."
Qual è il tuo numero preferito? È il 4.
Now imagine it's 9. Do you remember how to say 9?
9. 9.
Say, "It's 9."
È il 9.
Now answer the question saying, "It's 9."
Qual è il tuo numero preferito? È il 9.
Want to speak real Italian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ItalianPod101.com.
Want to speak your target language with confidence and impress native speakers? When learning to speak a new language, you have lots of things to think about, including grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Because you're thinking of all of these things and trying to speak, it can be difficult to communicate with confidence, especially in the beginning. This is why it's helpful to make confidence-building exercises part of your language learning process. In this video, you'll learn 7 ways to boost your confidence. 1. Read out loud. This might seem pretty basic, but it's a great way to practice speaking. Reading aloud lets you practice speaking without having to think about grammar or things to talk about. Reading out loud lets you focus on your pronunciation and the rhythm of the language. It can help you learn to speak more smoothly and quickly, without even thinking about it. If you're using our lessons, read the dialogue out loud as you listen. You can read along with the dialogue tool, the lesson notes, or the transcript. 2. Read like a child. This might sound strange, but think about children learning to read. They go slow and sound everything out. Maybe it takes 2 or 3 tries before they read a new word smoothly, and a few more tries before they can read it at a natural pace. This example applies to language learning too. If you find a complex sentence in something you're reading, read it slowly at first, then speed up. With practice, you'll be able to say it easily. It might feel a bit silly to speak very slowly, but this kind of practice can help you identify tough sounds you might miss or say incorrectly when reading quickly. 3. Use the dialogue breakdown tool. If you're using our site, this is a great tool to take advantage of. It breaks down lesson conversations into individual lines. You can listen to the audio for each line, learn what each line means, and can reread and review as much as you want. 4. Use the voice recorder to record and compare yourself with native speakers. Just click on the microphone icon next to each line in the dialogue section. You can use this tool to perfect your pronunciation if you like, but this is also something you can use to work on speaking with confidence at native level speed. You'll find this tool in the dialogue section of all of our lessons. 5. Repeat and review old lesson conversations. Reviewing what you've studied in the past is the best way to make sure you maintain what you've learned. Go back to older lessons, download the lesson dialogue tracks, and re-listen to the conversations again and again. Or you can reread the dialogue lines from previous lessons until you've mastered them all. 6. Shadow conversations. Repeat what you hear out loud. This tactic is important, but it can be tricky when you're doing a brand new lesson. If you're reviewing dialogues from lessons you've done though, it's super easy to do. Just listen to the dialogue and repeat what you hear. Shadowing means mimicking the speaker as soon as they speak, following their intonation and rhythms as closely as possible. 7. Send recordings to your Premium Plus teacher. If you want to speak with confidence, there's no better confidence boost than feedback from a native speaker, and you get just that with a Premium Plus teacher. You can record yourself reciting a lesson dialogue or any dialogue of your own, and your teacher will give you specific tips on how to improve. From the tips your teacher gives you, choose at least one and practice, practice, practice. Being able to react quickly and with confidence in a conversation is typically not something you can do on your first try, but if you continue practicing, you'll gradually find yourself speaking with ease. And for even more ways to build your speaking confidence, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, we'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, what kind of movies do you like? After watching this video, you'll be able to talk about movies and ask other people about their favorite kinds of movies. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your Talking About Movies and TV PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Che tipo di film ti piacciono?
Mi piacciono gli horror.
Once more with the English translation.
Che tipo di film ti piacciono?
What kind of movies do you like?
Mi piacciono gli horror.
I like horror. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, what kind of movies do you like? That's,
Che tipo di film ti piacciono?
listen to it again.
Che tipo di film ti piacciono? Che tipo di film ti piacciono?
Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is,
Mi piacciono le.
type of movie. This Italian sentence literally translates as, I like the type of movie, but it means, I like type of movie. For example, I like horror.
Mi piacciono gli horror. Mi piacciono gli horror.
Here are a few more kinds of movies you can use with the same pattern to talk about movies. Horror,
Horror. Horror.
comedy,
Commedie. Commedie.
fantasy movies,
Film fantastici. Film fantastici.
romance,
Storie d'amore. Storie d'amore.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Che tipo di film ti piacciono?
Mi piacciono le commedie.
Che tipo di film ti piacciono?
Mi piacciono i film fantastici.
Che tipo di film ti piacciono?
Mi piacciono le storie d'amore.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, what kind of movies do you like?
Che tipo di film ti piacciono?
Imagine you like comedies. Do you remember how to say comedy?
Commedie. Commedie.
Say, I like comedies.
Mi piacciono le commedie.
Now answer the question saying that you like comedies.
Che tipo di film ti piacciono?
Mi piacciono le commedie.
Now imagine that you like fantasy movies. Do you remember how to say fantasy?
Film fantastici. Film fantastici.
Say, I like fantasy movies.
Mi piacciono i film fantastici.
Now, answer the question saying you like fantasy movies.
Che tipo di film ti piacciono?
Mi piacciono i film fantastici.
Now imagine you like romantic movies. Do you remember how to say romantic?
Storie d'amore. Storie d'amore.
Say, I like romance.
Mi piacciono le storie d'amore.
Now answer the question saying you like romantic movies.
Che tipo di film ti piacciono?
Mi piacciono le storie d'amore.
Want to speak real Italian from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at ItalianPod101.com.
Want to speak and understand more of your target language? If so, of course, you'll need to know more words and phrases than you do now. In this video, we'll cover 5 ways to master new words and phrases fast. Number 1, use our free vocabulary list. This is a free library of vocabulary and phrase lessons for all kinds of situations. You can learn words and phrases for current events, holidays like Halloween and Thanksgiving, and useful topics, like the top 10 ways to say hello, conversational phrases, and more. You'll learn phrases that you won't find in textbooks. If you want to learn extra fast, use the slideshow tool. Just tap or click on View Slideshow, then sit back and review the words and phrases. Find the vocabulary lists in the vocabulary drop-down menu on the site. These vocabulary lists are free for all users. Number 2, take the audio and video lessons. One of the best ways to learn new words is by hearing and using them in conversations. This is because it gives you the opportunity to understand how the words are actually used. In every lesson dialogue, you'll likely come across some words you don't know. But don't worry, because our teachers translate everything. When you hear the conversation again at the end of the lesson, you'll be familiar with the words you didn't know at first. Number 3, learn with our 2,000 most common words list. A quick question. How many words do you think you need for conversational fluency? 3,000? 5,000? It's actually not as many as you think. Language experts say you need about 1,500 words to reach conversational fluency. With our 2,000 most common words list, you'll get access to key vocabulary words you need to boost your conversation skills. The words are broken down into simple categories, such as adjectives, nouns, verbs, food, drinks, numbers, months, and so on. So you can go category by category and focus on what you're most interested in first. With this tip, we're not talking about paper flashcards. We're talking about the smart flashcards that you can find in our premium study tools. This is an automatic system individualized for each member based on their study needs. First, you'll use the cards to check your knowledge. Then, according to your answers, the cards will be sorted according to which words you need more practice with. Words that you struggle with will be shown to you more and more. You'll see words that you know well less often. This system helps you study more efficiently. It displays the words you need to work on and knows when you should refresh your knowledge. This helps make sure you don't forget vocabulary. In every study session, these cards will help you refresh your memory on the words you learned last time and introduce new words. Number 5, use the words. After you learn a new word, using it right away is crucial to remembering it. So, when you're done with a lesson or a vocab list, here's something you can do. Leave a comment. Make up a sample sentence and post it in the comment section. Write it down in a notebook, or shadow the word with a lessons dialogue. Our language learning program is full of tools that can help you speak more. Just pick one and get started. If you want to unlock all of these study tools, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, you'll learn conversational phrases to answer the question, what are you doing during the holiday? After watching this video, you'll be able to talk about your holiday plans. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your National Holidays PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Cosa farai a Pasqua?
Sto pensando di andare in spiaggia.
Once more with the English translation.
Cosa farai a Pasqua?
What are you doing for Easter?
Sto pensando di andare in spiaggia.
I'm planning to go to the beach. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, what are you doing for Easter? That's,
Cosa farai a Pasqua?
listen to it again.
Cosa farai a Pasqua? Cosa farai a Pasqua?
This Italian sentence literally translates as, what will you do at Easter? But it means, what are you doing for Easter? Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is,
Sto pensando di.
plan. This Italian sentence literally translates as, I stay thinking of plan, but it means I'm planning to plan. For example, I'm planning to go to the beach.
Sto pensando di andare in spiaggia. Sto pensando di andare in spiaggia.
Here are a few more phrases you can use with the same pattern to talk about your plans. Go to the beach.
Andare in spiaggia. Andare in spiaggia.
Travel.
Viaggiare. Viaggiare.
Stay home.
Restare a casa. Restare a casa.
Go to the movies.
Andare al cinema. Andare al cinema.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Cosa farai a Pasqua? Sto pensando di viaggiare. Cosa farai a Pasqua? Sto pensando di restare a casa. Cosa farai a Pasqua? Sto pensando di andare al cinema.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, what are you doing for Easter?
Cosa farai a Pasqua?
Imagine you're planning to travel. Do you remember how to say travel?
Viaggiare. Viaggiare.
Say, I'm planning to travel.
Sto pensando di viaggiare.
Now, answer the question saying you're planning to travel.
Cosa farai a Pasqua? Sto pensando di viaggiare.
Now, imagine you're planning to stay home. Do you remember how to say stay home?
Restare a casa. Restare a casa.
Say, I'm planning to stay home.
Sto pensando di restare a casa.
Now, answer the question saying you're planning to stay home.
Cosa farai a Pasqua? Sto pensando di restare a casa.
Now imagine you're planning to go to the movies. Do you remember how to say go to the movies?
Andare al cinema. Andare al cinema.
Say, I'm planning to go to the movies.
Sto pensando di andare al cinema.
Now, answer the question saying you're planning to go to the movies.
Cosa farai a Pasqua? Sto pensando di andare al cinema.
Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, you'll learn conversational phrases to use when talking on the phone. After watching this video, you'll be able to ask for someone on the phone and to put someone on hold. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your Making a Phone Call PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue.
Pronto, vorrei parlare con la persona responsabile.
Sì, solo un momento.
Once more with the English translation.
Pronto, vorrei parlare con la persona responsabile.
Hello, I'd like to speak with the person in charge.
Sì, solo un momento.
Okay, just a moment. First of all, you'll need to learn how to say hello on the phone. That's
Pronto. Pronto.
Then you'll need to learn how to say, I'd like to speak with person. The pattern is
Vorrei parlare con.
person. For example, hello, I'd like to speak with the person in charge.
Pronto. Vorrei parlare con la persona responsabile. Pronto, vorrei parlare con la persona responsabile.
Now, how do you answer this question?
Sì, solo un momento.
Okay, just a moment. Listen to it again.
Sì, solo un momento. Sì, solo un momento.
Here are a few more phrases you can use with the same pattern to talk on the phone. The person in charge.
La persona responsabile. La persona responsabile.
A sales representative.
Un rappresentante delle vendite. Un rappresentante delle vendite.
The manager.
Il dirigente. Il dirigente.
Customer service.
Il servizio clienti. Il servizio clienti.
Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Vorrei parlare con un rappresentante delle vendite.
Sì, solo un momento.
Vorrei parlare con il dirigente.
Sì, solo un momento.
Vorrei parlare con il servizio clienti.
Sì, solo un momento.
Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, I'd like to speak with person?
Vorrei parlare con.
Person. And how do you answer it?
Sì, solo un momento.
Imagine you want to talk to a sales representative. Do you remember how to say, a sales representative?
Un rappresentante delle vendite. Un rappresentante delle vendite.
Say, I'd like to speak with a sales representative.
Vorrei parlare con un rappresentante delle vendite.
Now say you want to talk to a sales representative and answer it.
Vorrei parlare con un rappresentante delle vendite.
Sì, solo un momento.
Now, imagine you want to talk to the manager. Do you remember how to say the manager?
Il dirigente. Il dirigente.
Say, I'd like to speak with the manager.
Vorrei parlare con il dirigente.
Now say you want to talk to the manager and answer it.
Vorrei parlare con il dirigente.
Sì, solo un momento.
Now imagine you want to talk to customer service. Do you remember how to say customer service?
Il servizio clienti. Il servizio clienti.
Say, I'd like to speak with customer service.
Vorrei parlare con il servizio clienti.
Now say you want to talk to customer service and answer it.
Vorrei parlare con il servizio clienti.
Sì, solo un momento.
When learning a new language, everyone should have an ultimate goal to work towards. Whether you want to be able to connect with a relative, easily order food while traveling, or go somewhere new, having an end goal for your learning can be very motivating. A popular but challenging goal is being able to speak like a native speaker. It's difficult to measure exactly when you reach this goal, and it's not something you can pick up using textbooks alone. So how do you work on making your speech more natural? That's what we're going to look at today. Here are 3 tips to help you practice talking like a native speaker. Number 1, focus on vocabulary. If your goal is to speak like a native, you might be really focused on speaking quickly or using as many complex grammar patterns as possible. But in our native languages, we're not always trying to speak as fast as possible, and we use complex grammar patterns when necessary, not to show off. Vocabulary, however, is extremely important to expressing ourselves naturally. Your choice of words can reveal a lot about you and your understanding of the language. Most learners have had the experience of using a phrasebook or a dictionary to find a word they want to use, trying the word in conversation, and getting a look of confusion from the native speaker. In some cases, although your word choice may be grammatically correct, the word may be inappropriate for the situation or totally unnatural. This is especially important in business and other formal situations, where the right level of formality and professionalism is key. Being able to understand nuances in vocabulary words can also help you understand relationships between people just by listening to the conversation. Try to listen to many different types of conversations. Listen to how people talk to their friends, their superiors, and in customer service situations. This will give you a better idea of how to talk to others naturally. In some languages, you can omit words from sentences or use more direct communication styles. It's important to be aware of these things so you can apply them yourself. Colloquialisms and slang are also commonly used in most languages. As this sort of vocabulary is always evolving, it can be difficult to keep up with the latest words. Talk with native speakers and consume media in your target language to make sure you pick up these kinds of expressions. Media is a great resource for your learning. Ultimately, knowing the appropriate vocabulary to use for each situation will really help you sound more knowledgeable. Number 2, perfect your accent. With every language, there are unique pronunciation and intonation challenges. Some languages are tonal languages, and a change in pitch can completely change the meaning of a word. Then there's the fact that most countries have multiple dialects, and so people from one area of the country may sound different from those in another. So what is the best way to listen to a wide range of accents and different pronunciations? Video and audio resources are a great way to do this. YouTube is a perfect place to start because people from all kinds of different backgrounds upload videos to the platform. You can watch educational videos, daily life vlogs, cooking shows, a travel series, whatever interests you. Pay attention to the different ways people speak. Everyone is unique. and then practice speaking like them. This kind of practice can help you sound more natural. One note, please be aware of the type of resources you're using. For example, if you find a video where a speaker uses a rare dialect, it might not be a good idea to use that for your pronunciation practice, unless you have a special reason for studying a specific accent. As a general rule, it's best to try to search for practice resources that use a standard form of the language you're studying. Number 3, copy what you hear. Do you remember how you learned to speak as a child? We rarely learned new words just listening to them, or reading after we learned how. When we were little kids, we imitated the sounds we heard by repeating the sounds out loud. While you're talking to a friend, watching videos, or listening to audio in your target language, you can do this to try and replicate the way they speak. Doing this will help you work on mastering the flow of the language, your accent, intonation, and pronunciation. Of course, you might also pick up some new vocabulary this way. Make sure to repeat new words often. It's a great way to make sure you remember them. Try doing this using a number of different mediums and sources. That way, you'll be exposed to the diversity that the language offers and master the fundamentals of pronunciation. For example, you can watch and imitate several different YouTube videos and audio CDs, but try a few different sources, like different creators or different audio types, to make sure you experience a wide range of communication in your target language. If you're using our language learning program, you can even get your own teacher with Premium Plus. Your teacher can answer questions, give assignments, and even listen to your recordings and give you advice on pronunciation. Completing these kinds of lessons with a native teacher can really boost your confidence in your speaking skills. Becoming able to speak like a native is a popular goal for many people learning a new language. It feels great to be able to communicate smoothly, especially when the people you're talking to expect basic level sentences or broken communication. Try using the tips we've shared in this video to work on improving your speaking skills. Of course, it'll take time and persistence, but the reward will be more natural communication. And for even more tips on speaking, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Want to finally start speaking in your target language? In this guide, you'll discover the top 7 ways to practice speaking on your own with our lessons. Let's begin. Number 1, shadowing. Shadowing is a proven learning technique where all you do is repeat what you hear in order to practice speaking. So access any audio or video lesson on the site and press the play button to start. Then, as you listen or watch, just repeat the conversations. Or, even easier, read along out loud with the dialogue section. The script is right there in front of you. With our lessons, you can master entire conversations, just like that. Number 2, read out loud. I just mentioned it, but reading out loud is another powerful tactic and deserves its own mention. With every lesson, you get written transcripts and translations. So, as you play the lesson, read the dialogue out loud as you hear it. Why? By reading out loud, you're also practicing your speaking skills. You can do this with the lesson notes, the lesson transcript, or the dialogue tool. With the dialogue tool, you can listen to each line again and again, and repeat out loud until you master them all. Number 3, speed up your reading to speed up your speaking. Being able to speak without thinking is a sign of language mastery. If you're talking to a native and can respond quickly, they'll assume that you're fairly fluent. How can you do this? When you read out loud, try increasing your speed a little bit every time. So, start by reading with the dialogue tool. If you're like most learners, you'll read the first line slowly. That's because you're still getting used to the words, which is okay. Reread it. On your second try, you know most of the words, and you'll read a little faster. Reread it again. On your third try, you'll be even faster, at a native speaker's speed. And being able to read these phrases out loud and fast will help you speak fast. Number 4, record and compare yourself with native speakers. In order to sound like a native speaker, you must imitate native speakers. So here's how. Access the voice recorder, which is in the dialogue study tool in every lesson. Click on the microphone icon. listen to the native speaker's audio, and then record yourself. You can then compare the two recordings side by side, and practice and try again and again until you perfect your pronunciation. Number 5, get feedback from our Premium Plus teacher. If you're learning by yourself and don't have access to real teachers, then you can always get feedback from our Premium Plus teachers. With the My Teacher tool, you can record yourself speaking and send the audio file to the teacher. They'll review it and tell you what to improve and how. That's it. Number 6, level up your speaking with Premium Plus assignments. With Premium Plus, you can also get assignments that cover reading, writing, listening, and even speaking from your teacher. These assignments can be tailored to your goals and needs. You get a new one every week, or anytime you're ready for a new one. Number 7, get even more lessons in the lesson library. If you want even more lessons on speaking and conversations, visit our lesson library and under Category, choose Conversation. You'll get all of the pathways and lessons that are focused on speaking. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share it with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way, and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, what's the difference between potere and riuscire? Riuscire and potere are two verbs we use very often in Italian. Sometimes their meanings overlap, but other times they mean completely different things. Potere is translated as to be able to or can. It indicates the capacity and or possibility to do a determinate action. For example, non devi cucinare, posso farlo io. You don't have to cook, I can do it. Potere is an irregular verb, but more importantly, it's a modal verb. Modal verbs are used to give additional information about the main verb. As with other modal verbs, potere is almost always followed by an infinitive verb without a linking preposition. For example, posso andare alla festa? Can I go to the party? Sometimes we can use another verb, riuscire. In English, this can be translated in the same way as potere. However, riuscire has a slightly different meaning. Its meaning is somewhere between the English verbs to be able to and to succeed. Let's see some examples. Non riesco a dormire, c'è troppo rumore. I can't sleep, there's too much noise. Sono riuscito ad arrivare in tempo. I managed to arrive on time. Please also note that riuscire needs the preposition a in front of the infinitive. It's not always easy to grasp the difference between these two verbs. Look at these sentences. Ho 15 anni. Non posso guidare. I'm 15. I can't drive. It's the same as saying, I'm not allowed to drive. Sono troppo stanca. Non riesco a guidare. I'm too tired. I can't drive. It's the same as saying, even if I tried, I couldn't. Here is another example that may help. We can translate I can't sleep at the office in two different ways in Italian. One is non posso dormire in ufficio. The other one, non riesco a dormire in ufficio. The first one is the most likely, as it means that I can't sleep because of the office rules. The second one, instead, means something like I can't manage sleeping at the office. The speaker can't sleep not because of the rules, but because of the noise or another secondary reason. Sometimes it doesn't matter which verb you choose. For example, you could say non posso venire alla festa or non riesco a venire alla festa. Though their nuance is different, the meaning is the same. I can't go to the party. To recap, keep in mind that there are some situations where you can't use riuscire to express the same meaning. Situations like when you ask for permission, posso uscire? Can I go out? When you ask for someone's help, qualcuno può aiutarmi? Can anyone help me? When you make a suggestion, potresti provare? Could you try? Pretty interesting, right? If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below. A presto, see you soon! Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, what does it mean when people say that Italian is a Romance language? Well, in this case, Romance probably isn't the kind of romance that you're thinking of, with hearts, roses, and people falling in love. Romance actually refers to a family of languages. The Romance family is originally from Western and Southern Europe. For example, you might have noticed that Spanish and French are very similar to Italian, especially when they compare to other languages. You're seeing the family resemblance. They are all Romance languages. And their common ancestor is Latin. Latin is an ancient language, and it's no longer widely used as part of public life. Latin emerged on the Italian peninsula as early as the 8th century BC. After the collapse of the Roman Empire, some 12 centuries later, vernacular forms of the language were given new space to develop. During the early modern period, emerging nation-states standardized these forms and made them into the Romance languages we know today. These Romance languages later spread from Europe to Africa, the Americas, and even as far as Southeast Asia and Oceania. Italian has actually stayed the closest to its Latin roots, especially in terms of vocabulary. Romance languages farther away from Italy aren't quite as close to Latin as Italian, but they share the same roots. That's why Romance languages are sometimes also called Neo-Latin languages. Pretty cool, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments below and I'll try to answer them. A presto! See you soon! Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, do Italians only speak Italian, or are there other languages commonly spoken in Italy? Italian is such a famous and beautiful language that many people only know about Standard Italian. However, that's only half the story. Actually, many Italians are native bilinguals. Italian is the most widely spoken language in Italy, but there are lots of regional languages or dialects called dialetti. People don't really use dialects in official or formal settings. That's why Italian is the official language of Italy. It's necessary to have a common language everyone can understand and use together. For the most part, dialects are only spoken and used in casual situations. A few of the major dialects might sound familiar to you. The major ones are Napolitan, Sicilian, Sardinian, Venetian, and Friulan, and there are a lot more. You probably won't be able to find a full list of dialetti online. There are two main reasons why. Dialects don't have a written literature, so few documents have been written about them. In fact, most children learn a dialetto at the same time they learn Standard Italian. The difference is that Italian is what's used in schools, while dialects are used with family and friends. Some people consider dialects as the only language that can truly express one's innermost feelings. Unfortunately, many children today don't learn any dialetti at all. So, if you go to Italy and you overhear an unfamiliar phrase, it might not even be in Italian. It could be a phrase from one of the many Italian dialects. Isn't that interesting? If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments below. A presto! See you soon! Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, what are some examples of Italian loanwords we use in everyday English? You may not know it, but you probably use some Italian every day. Did you know that bravo, dilemma, and paparazzi are Italian words? English is full of Italian loanwords. We use them in almost every aspect of our lives, especially in art, music, cuisine, and architecture. The most obvious is probably cuisine. I'm sure you've seen silly people try to imitate Italian by saying spaghetti, cappuccino, espresso, mozzarella, maccheroni. Well, they're actually Italian words. You might have seen al dente or pasta fresca, which means fresh pasta, on English pasta packages. Those are two different ways to prepare pasta. Did you know that the words zucchini and broccoli are also from Italian? Music and art also have plenty of Italian loanwords. Take finale, scenario, solo, and concerto. Those are all commonly used in English. There are lots more on a technical level too, like forte, fortissimo, piano, pianissimo, motto, stanza. In arts and architecture, studio, villa, graffiti, veranda, and ghetto, as well as apartment from appartamento, are all Italian loanwords. The list doesn't end here. Umbrella comes from the Italian ombrello, lottery comes from lotteria, and tombola is also an Italian game. Madonna, Monsignor, and Padre are all loanwords related to religion. Scherzo in Italian means joke, and novel comes from the Italian novella. Sonnet comes from sonetto. Italian is everywhere. Be careful with some loanwords though. The Italian word doesn't always mean the same thing in English. For example, manifesto in Italian means poster. English loanwords don't always follow Italian grammar either. Zucchini and macaroni are spelled differently in Italian. English words like panini and salami are mistakenly used in the plural form. Pretty interesting, right? Do you have any more questions? Leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them. A presto! See you soon! Hi everybody! Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, does Italian have any false friends words that look the same in English but mean something different? The answer is yes. The term false friends is the perfect name for these words. They're like people who look really familiar but are actually total strangers. We'll go through some of the most common ones, so you can avoid miscommunications when you're speaking Italian. If your Italian partner is going to introduce you to his or her parenti, you'll be meeting their relatives, not just the parents. The word parents is genitori in Italian. Also, if you see the word sale in a supermarket, don't think you're getting a discount. Sale is actually the Italian word for salt. If someone describes you as educato or educata, they are usually not talking about your education. They are saying that you are polite. And if you work in a factory, don't say you work in a fattoria. That means you work on a farm. If you are a librarian, don't work in a libreria, because that's bookshop. So don't think that you can borrow books there for free. Make sure you don't offer to take pictures with your camera. That means room. You take pictures on your macchina fotografica. Pay attention to verbs too. Attualmente means currently in Italian. The Italian for actually is in realtà. Definitely doesn't translate as definitivamente either. That means ultimately. Lastly, when you're talking about an event that's coming up later than expected, don't use eventualmente for eventually. Eventualmente means possibly, and, of course, there are many more. Got it? Keep the questions coming. If you have another question, leave it in the comments and I'll try to answer it. A presto! See you soon! Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, What are masculine and feminine nouns, and how are they different? In Italian, all nouns have a gender. A noun can either be masculine or feminine. That applies to plural nouns too, and to all the words that can modify nouns, such as articles and adjectives. Other Romance languages have similar system of masculine and feminine nouns. It's a trait that comes from Latin. The gender depends on the origin of the Latin word. English doesn't have masculine and feminine nouns though, so the easiest way for English speakers to tell a noun's gender is by looking at the last letter of the noun. If a noun ends with O in the singular and E in the plural, it's usually masculine. If a noun ends with A in the singular and E in the plural, it's usually feminine. For example, sedia, meaning chair, ends with an A, so it's feminine. La sedia. In the plural, le sedie. Libro, meaning book, ends with an O, so it's masculine. Il libro. And in the plural, I libri, ending with an I. The OI for masculine and AE for feminine rule doesn't always work though. Most of the time, but not always. There are some exceptions like la moto, meaning the bike, which is feminine, and il problema, meaning the problem, which is actually masculine. To make things even more complicated, there is a third class of nouns ending with E in the singular and I in the plural. These can be masculine or feminine depending on the word. That's why it's important to learn nouns and their respective genders together with the right definite articles. The definite articles are different from each gender, so they'll help you remember. For example, take bicchiere, meaning glass, which is in that third category of nouns ending in E. The right article for bicchiere is il, so il bicchiere is masculine. How about nave, meaning ship? The right article for this one is la, so la nave is feminine. Again, there is unfortunately no formula to find the right gender. The Latin origins of words go way back, and often people don't know why some words have a certain gender today. Your best guide is going to be our first rule, singular O and plural I for masculine, and singular A, plural E for feminine. Just try to memorize the articles with the nouns, and before you know it, the gender classifications will come naturally to you. Woo! That's it for this lesson. Please send in any more questions you have, and I'll try to answer them. A presto, see you soon! Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, how do you form the plural of nouns? In Italian, just like in English, nouns can be singular or plural depending on what they refer to. To form the plural of Italian nouns, you generally have to change the final letter of the singular form from one vowel to another. Masculine nouns ending in O and A form the plural by changing the final vowel to I. For example, ragazzo, meaning boy, becomes ragazzi in the plural, and the plural of poeta, which means poet, is poeti. Feminine nouns ending in A form the plural by changing the A to E. So, mela, meaning apple, changes to mele when it means apples. Finally, there are also nouns ending in E. Both masculine and feminine nouns that end in E form the plural by changing the final vowel to I. Let's take cane, for example, which means dog, and is masculine. The plural form is cani. Similarly, the plural of chiave, a feminine noun meaning key, is chiavi. However, not all nouns follow these rules. In fact, there are lots of exceptions. Let's see a few of them. Some nouns don't change in the plural. You can still tell if a noun is plural because the definite article or its adjective will be in the plural form, but the noun itself doesn't change. Among the words that remain unchanged in plural, there are all nouns ending in accent vowels like caffè, meaning coffee, or città, meaning city. Foreign nouns ending in a consonant, for example, computer, film, or sport. Singular nouns that end in I, crisi, meaning crisis, or brindisi, meaning toast. Monosyllable nouns, for example, re, which means king. Some nouns have an irregular plural form. For example, man in Italian is uomo, while men is uomini. And there are even Italian nouns that change gender when they become plural. For example, finger is masculine in the singular form, il dito, but becomes feminine in the plural, le dita. Plurals sometimes can be a challenge even for native Italian speakers. However, exceptions are exceptions. You shouldn't obsess over them. Just memorize the few rules I told you in the beginning and go from there. Pretty interesting, right? If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below. A presto! See you soon! Hi everybody, Marika here. Welcome to Ask a Teacher, where I'll answer some of your most common Italian questions. The question for this lesson is, how are verbs conjugated? English verbs are not heavily inflected. In fact, there are just 3 endings you can add to the infinitive of regular verbs. S for the third person singular present tense, for example, plays. Ing for the gerund, playing, and id for the past tense, played. Most combinations of tense, aspect, mood, and voice can be expressed using auxiliary and modal verbs. Italian, on the other hand, is a heavily inflected language. Italian verbs have lots of different endings depending on their subject, tense, and mood. The infinitive is the unconjugated form of the verb, the one you'll find in the dictionary. Italian verbs are divided into 3 main conjugation groups, according to their infinitive endings. Verbs of the first conjugation end in are, for example, parlare, meaning to speak. Verbs of the second conjugation in ere, for example, leggere, meaning to read. Verbs of the third conjugation end in ire, for example, dormire, meaning to sleep. Each group has a different and regular conjugation pattern. Even if there are a lot of irregular verbs, most Italian verbs follow one of these 3 systems of conjugation. Each conjugation pattern has different endings you'll need to add to the verb stem. To get the stem of a verb, all you have to do is take away are, ere, or ire. So the stem of parlare is parl, the stem of leggere is legge, and the stem of dormire is dorm. Verb endings are affected by mood, tense, person, number, and sometimes even gender. Let's take a look. Italian verbs have 4 finite moods. They are the indicative, to express facts, for example, io dormo, I sleep. The imperative, to give orders, for example, dormi, sleep. The subjunctive, to express doubt, hope, fear, and possibility, for example, che io beva, I drink. The conditional, to express an action that depends on another fact that may or may not happen, for example, io leggerei, I would read. There are also 3 non-finite moods, which usually have just one form. The infinitive, which is also the dictionary form, for example, parlare, to speak. The gerund for progressive tenses, for example, leggendo, reading. the participle, generally used as adjective or with the other verbs, for example, parlato, spoken. While mood shows the manner in which an action is expressed, the tense is what specifies when the action happens. The only Italian mood that has all 8 tenses in the indicative, which is also the most used mood. The only present tense is the present, io parlo, I speak. Past tenses include present perfect, io ho parlato, I have spoken. Imperfect, io parlavo, I spoke. Past perfect, io avevo parlato, I had spoken. Absolute past, io parlai, I spoke. Pre-trade perfect, io ebbi parlato, I had spoken. Future tenses are the future, io parlerò, I will speak. The future perfect, io avrò parlato, I will have spoken. The other moods only have a couple of tenses, usually present and past, except for the subjunctive, which has a few more. This looks like a lot, and it actually is one of the most challenging things, even for native speakers. But don't panic. If you get started with the regular verbs in the indicative present tense, you will soon familiarize yourself with the conjugation patterns. Pretty interesting, right? If you have any more questions, please leave a comment below. A presto! See you soon!
Top 10 phrases your parents always say. So it's something that, if you, for instance, if you go on holidays in Italy, you will hear a lot of parents saying this kind of words, exactly those words, to their kids. Let's start. Stai attento. Be careful. Stai attento. Be careful. Stai attento is pretty much used for everything, you know. For instance, when, you know, a kid starts to run and parents say, stai attento, you know, let's, you know, to bear in mind that, you know, you have to be careful what you do. Fa silenzio. Be quiet. Fa silenzio. Be quiet. Or you can also say fa silenzio, or also stai tranquillo. Comportati bene. Behave yourself. Comportati bene is like behave yourself, you know, comportati bene. Fai I tuoi compiti. Do your homework. Fai I tuoi compiti. Do your homework. Va a letto. Go to bed. Va a letto. Go to bed. Sto per contare fino a 3. I'm going to count to 3. Sto per contare fino a 3. I'm going to count to 3. Okay, this is something that pretty much every kid hear from the parents, is when, you know, for example, they ask you to do something, or, you know, and they give you like the time, you know, so you basically don't have time, you have to do what they say. And so this is the way, sto per contare fino a 3, I'm going to count till 3, you know, 1, 2, 3 is very, very quick. So it basically means that you better listen to them. Fermo, stop. Fermo, stop. You know, I don't know, when you're doing something which is not good, or for instance, the kid is running very fast, you know, and you want to say stop, you know, you say fermo or ferma. Ferma is a female version of it. Cosa hai detto? What did you say? Cosa hai detto? What did you say? A very common question that you can use in very different situations. Cosa hai detto? For instance, when you don't understand when someone is talking about something, you know, you don't understand, and you say, what are you talking about? You know, I don't understand. Not really much like, I mean, not like, cosa stai dicendo? It's like more to say, can you repeat, please? You know? Non sto scherzando. I'm not kidding. Non sto scherzando. I'm not kidding. You can also say I'm not joking, of course, and it's pretty much the same when parents say non sto scherzando, you know. You better take me seriously, you know. This is pretty much the meaning. Spegni il televisore ora. Turn the TV off now. Spegni il televisore ora. Turn the TV off now. Something very common again that happened, that, you know, every kid just hear from the parents.
Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Italian ebook before it's gone.